I said her growling was cute. Now she growls every time I enter a room. Alex had never thought a cat could change his life. He had always liked animals, but for some reason, he had avoided getting a pet for years. Maybe it was the responsibility. Maybe it was the thought of tiny paws leaving scratches on furniture. Or maybe he just didn't know how to care for one. But when he walked into the city shelter that rainy Saturday morning, everything changed. The shelter smelled faintly of wet fur and antiseptic, and a few cats lounged lazily on shelves or slept in little beds. Alex's eyes immediately caught a small, gray cat in the corner. She wasn't loud or playful like some others. She simply sat on a blanket observing him with wide, golden eyes. Something about her gaze made Alex pause. A shelter volunteer approached. "That's Luna. She's shy but very smart. She tends to growl when she's nervous, but she's not aggressive. She just has her ways." Alex laughed softly. "Growls, that's unusual for a cat." The volunteer nodded. "Yes, she's unique. Some people find it strange, but those who give her a chance end up loving her." Alex knelt down to the edge of her blanket. Luna's ears flicked back and she let out a low, almost human-like growl. It wasn't angry, it was cautious, wary. But it was definitely a growl. Alex blinked, unsure how to respond. Then without thinking, he said quietly, "You know that growling, I think it's cute." For a moment, Luna just stared. Then she tilted her head slightly and growled again, a little louder this time. Alex's lips curled into a smile. "See, I told you it's cute." It was settled. Alex filled out the adoption papers and brought Luna home. The first few days were interesting. Luna hid under the couch at first, only coming out when Alex was in another room. Every so often, he'd hear a soft growl echoing from somewhere, followed by the rustle of her paws as she slinked away. Alex laughed every time. "You are a strange little cat," he whispered, scratching behind her ears when she finally allowed it. Slowly, Luna began exploring the apartment. She would jump onto the windowsill and watch the city below, growling occasionally at birds or passing cars. Alex found it charming, unusual, and strangely comforting. Then, one evening, it happened. Alex was walking into the living room carrying a mug of tea when Luna emerged from behind the couch. She looked directly at him and let out a soft, throaty growl. Alex froze. He chuckled. "Oh no, not again. You growl every time I come in, don't you?" Luna blinked slowly and growled again. Alex laughed louder this time. "I already said it's cute. Don't worry, I'm not scared." He lowered himself to sit on the floor, holding out a hand. Luna cautiously stepped closer, sniffed it, and then, without warning, gave a tiny, playful growl. Alex's laughter filled the room. From that moment on, Luna's growling became a ritual. Every time Alex entered a room, she would greet him with a soft, rumbling growl. Sometimes she would curl up in his lap immediately afterward. Other times she would pace in front of him, her tail flicking, growling softly. Friends and family were confused when they came over. "She growls at you every time," one friend asked, staring at Luna perched on the sofa. Alex shrugged, smiling. "I guess she just likes me. I told her growling is cute and now, well, it's her way of saying hello, I think." The next week, Alex began noticing small changes in Luna's behavior. She had always been cautious, but now she seemed to anticipate his movements. When he walked down the hallway, she would appear at the doorway, growl softly, and follow him into the room. She began meowing less and growling more, almost as if she were talking in her own language. Alex found himself filming short clips of her antics. He would laugh at her little growls and then replay the videos, showing them to friends. "She's so weird, but I love her," he would say, watching Luna's golden eyes track him. One night, while working on his laptop in the living room, Alex noticed Luna sitting quietly on the carpet, staring at him. He absent-mindedly said, "You know, I think your growl is my favorite sound." Luna's response was immediate. A soft, rumbling growl echoed through the room, and she padded over to curl up beside him. Alex couldn't help but laugh. "You really like that, huh?" he said, stroking her fur. However, not everything was easy. One afternoon, Alex brought a friend over. As soon as the friend stepped into the room, Luna let out a low, warning growl. The friend froze. "Is she mad at me?" Alex smiled awkwardly. "No, no, she just growls sometimes. Don't take it personally." The friend watched as Luna's tail flicked and she continued growling softly. Alex knelt down, calling gently, "Luna, come on. Be nice." Luna paused, looked at him, and then, with one final tiny growl, jumped onto the couch, settling beside him. Alex realized then that her growls were not anger. They were a way of communicating, a playful warning or a sign of attachment. The realization made him love her even more. Days turned into weeks and the ritual continued. Luna's growling became part of Alex's daily life. He would enter a room, hear the soft rumble, smile, and respond. Sometimes he would make a joke aloud. "Oh no, don't growl at me today, Luna." But she always did, her golden eyes bright and mischievous. Alex noticed another change in himself. He was calmer, happier, and more patient. The little routines with Luna, feeding her, cleaning her litter, talking to her, and even laughing at her growls, brought a sense of peace he hadn't realized he needed. He began to look forward to her growls every day. One evening, Alex's phone buzzed with a message from his cousin who had been watching Luna's videos online. "She's so funny. How can she growl like that?" Alex laughed and replied, "I don't know, but I love it. She's my little growling shadow." Later that night, as Alex sat on the couch reading a book, Luna curled up beside him, growling softly whenever he shifted or reached for his tea. Alex stroked her fur and whispered, "You're the weirdest cat, Luna, but you're perfect." Luna's growl seemed to answer back, low and warm, like she agreed. As the weeks passed, Alex began to understand Luna more deeply. Each growl, each flick of her tail, each tiny movement had meaning. The soft rumble when he entered a room meant happiness, the sharp flick of her ears meant curiosity, and the tiny hiss at a passing car meant caution. Alex often wondered what she thought when he said her growl was cute. Did she understand? Or did she simply enjoy making him smile? Either way, the bond was undeniable. By the end of the first month, Luna had fully settled into her new home. She still growled whenever Alex entered a room, but now it was accompanied by small gestures of affection, rubbing against his legs, nudging his hand, or hopping onto the couch to curl up next to him. Alex had never felt such a unique connection with a pet before. It wasn't just the growl, it was the personality, the quirks, and the little habits that made Luna special. Alex smiled every time he heard it, a simple sound that carried warmth, mischief, and a strange sense of companionship. Part 1 ends with Alex standing in the doorway one evening, watching Luna perched on the arm of the couch. As he entered the room, she let out a soft, playful growl. Alex laughed and shook his head. "You really are something, Luna," he said. And Luna, as if understanding every word, blinked slowly and purred, the tiny growl still vibrating in her throat. From that moment, Alex knew one thing for certain. Life was better with Luna, growls and all. The weeks passed, and Luna's little growls became the soundtrack of Alex's daily life. Every time he opened a door or stepped into the living room, that soft rumble would greet him. At first it was a curiosity, something unusual and amusing. Now it was a comfort, a reminder that Luna was there, alert and aware, watching and waiting for him. Alex started noticing other quirks in her behavior. She had a way of following him from room to room, growling softly if he moved too fast or too quietly. Sometimes she would sit on the windowsill, growling at the street below, as if warning the world not to disturb her human. Other times she would hide under the bed for hours, only to pop out and let out a tiny growl when Alex entered the room. It was playful, yet oddly serious. One afternoon, Alex decided to work from home. He set up his laptop on the dining table and poured a cup of coffee. Luna, as usual, was nearby, watching his every move. Every time he reached for his mug or typed a sentence, she growled softly, a gentle rumble of attention. Alex laughed. Okay, okay, I see you. I'm not ignoring you, Luna. He scratched her ears and she purred, the growl mingling with the soft rumble of contentment. A few days later, Alex received a package. As he carried it into the living room, Luna, perched on the couch, let out a surprisingly loud growl. Startled, Alex almost dropped the box. He froze, staring at her. Luna's golden eyes were wide, her tail flicking rapidly. Whoa, easy, girl, Alex said, carefully placing the box on the floor. He crouched down and held out his hand. Luna sniffed it and then gave another low growl, softer this time. Alex laughed nervously. Okay, I get it. No surprises for you. It was moments like these that made Alex realize how deeply Luna had bonded with him. Her growls were more than cute, they were communication. She was letting him know exactly how she felt, what she was thinking, and even when she was suspicious. Alex began paying closer attention to her expressions, her tail movements, and the pitch of her growls. Slowly, he began to understand her language. Luna's uniqueness didn't go unnoticed by others. Alex's friends were fascinated by her behavior. One day, he invited his friend Maria over. As soon as Maria entered the apartment, Luna let out a sharp growl, more pronounced than usual. Maria froze, unsure how to react. Alex quickly reassured her. She's just telling you hello in her own way. Don't worry, she likes you. Maria watched in awe as Luna circled Alex, growling softly, then suddenly leaping onto the couch and curling up beside him. Wow, she really is something special, Maria said, laughing. Alex nodded. I know. I told you before, I think her growling is cute. I think she likes being unusual. Inspired by Luna's quirks, Alex started recording short videos of her growling and interacting with him. One evening, he uploaded a video to social media, showing Luna growling softly as he walked into the room and then curling up beside him. Within hours, the video started gaining attention. Comments poured in. This is the cutest thing ever. I wish my cat would do that. Her growl is adorable, Alex smiled, amazed at how many people were touched by Luna's little habit. He had never thought that a small, quirky behavior could bring so much joy to others. Luna, of course, seemed indifferent to the attention. She was content with her human noticing her, and that was all that mattered. However, life with Luna was not without challenges. One rainy evening, as Alex opened the door for a delivery person, Luna's growl was sharp and warning. The delivery person hesitated, stepping back cautiously. Alex apologized, embarrassed. I'm sorry, she's not aggressive, just protective. He realized that Luna's growling, though cute, could be misunderstood. He started preparing visitors, letting them know how she communicated. He learned to read her subtle cues, when she was playful, when she was nervous, and when she wanted to be left alone. Over time, people who visited grew to appreciate her personality. They laughed at her growls, recognizing them as signs of her affection. One night, Alex was feeling tired after a long day at work. He sank onto the couch and sighed. Luna immediately noticed. She jumped onto his lap, her growls soft and comforting, almost like she was saying, I'm here for you. Alex stroked her fur and realized something. Her growls had become a form of therapy. They reminded him to slow down, to notice the small things, and to enjoy the present moment. He started spending more intentional time with her. He played with her using toys, watched her chase little balls across the floor, and laughed at her exaggerated growls during playtime. Luna seemed to respond to his attention, growling more gently and curling up beside him more often. Their bond grew stronger every day. Weeks turned into months. Luna had fully claimed her place in Alex's life. Her growls were now a daily ritual, a constant presence that brought comfort and amusement. Alex often found himself speaking aloud to her. What is it today, Luna? Another growl for me. And she would, her golden eyes meeting his, a soft rumble vibrating in her throat. One morning, Alex woke up to find Luna sitting on the windowsill, her tail flicking. As he entered the room, she let out a long, gentle growl. He chuckled. "Good morning, Luna. Did you miss me?" She blinked slowly, purring, and her growl softened into a small rumble of contentment. It was moments like these that made Alex realize how much Luna had changed his life. She wasn't just a pet. She was a companion, a small creature with a big personality, teaching him patience, observation, and the joy of noticing small quirks. Then, one evening, Luna fell ill. Alex noticed her hiding more than usual, growling less, and refusing food. Panic set in. He rushed her to the vet, heart pounding. The vet examined her carefully. "She's dehydrated and a little weak, but with rest and fluids she should recover," the vet said. Alex felt a wave of relief. During those days, as he cared for her, Luna barely growled. Alex missed the little rumble that had become part of his daily life. When she finally began to eat and drink again, she looked up at him and let out the tiniest, softest growl. Alex laughed through his relief and tears. "You're okay, Luna. You're okay." That small growl was more than a sound. It was a signal that she trusted him, that she was back, and that their bond had endured a challenge. After Luna recovered, Alex reflected on their journey together. From the moment he said her growl was cute, a playful habit had blossomed into a meaningful connection. He had learned to understand her language, appreciate her quirks, and embrace the little things that made her unique. Every growl, every flick of her tail, every soft purr was a reminder of love in its simplest, most honest form. He often thought about how unusual their relationship was. Friends and strangers alike were fascinated by a cat that growled for joy. But Alex didn't care about what others thought. To him, Luna's growls were music, a rhythm that filled the apartment with warmth, laughter, and companionship. One quiet evening, Alex sat on the couch with Luna curled up in his lap. She let out a soft, warm growl as he stroked her fur. He smiled, whispering, "You're the best, Luna. I wouldn't change a thing." She blinked slowly, growled again, and snuggled closer as if agreeing. Life with Luna was simple, yet it was full of meaning. The small routines, the morning growl, the soft rumble when he entered a room, the playful pounce, were the moments that mattered. They reminded Alex that love and companionship could come in unexpected ways, in the quirks, the sounds, and the small, everyday gestures. As he sat there, listening to her soft growls, Alex realized something profound. Sometimes, happiness isn't about grand gestures or dramatic events. Sometimes, it's about a tiny gray cat who growls when you enter the room, a little creature who teaches you that joy can be found in the simplest of sounds and the quietest of moments. And with that thought, Alex leaned back, smiling. Luna purred, growled softly, and curled tighter in his lap. The world outside could wait. Here, in this small apartment with the gentle rumble of a growling cat, life was perfect. Life had settled into a comfortable rhythm for Alex and Luna. The apartment was filled with the quiet sounds of the city outside, the hum of the refrigerator, and the gentle rumble of Luna's growls whenever Alex moved from room to room. That soft growl, which had once startled and amused him, had become a comforting presence, a little signal that everything was okay. Alex had grown accustomed to her quirks. He could almost predict her growls now. A low rumble when he opened the bedroom door in the morning, a higher-pitched growl when he carried groceries inside, a tiny playful growl when he reached for his coffee cup. He laughed often, telling himself that he would never tire of it. One Saturday morning, Alex decided to take a day off from work to spend time with Luna. He set up a small play area in the living room with toys, a few paper balls, and a new scratching post. Luna immediately noticed the change in the room. Her tail flicked, ears perked, and of course she growled softly at Alex as he moved around, rearranging the toys. "Relax, Luna," Alex said, crouching to her level. "It's just playtime, nothing scary." She blinked slowly at him, then growled, hopping toward the toys as if to say, I will judge your arrangement, human, before I approve it. Alex laughed so hard that he almost spilled his coffee. He tossed a paper ball gently across the room. Luna darted after it, growling loudly in what seemed like excitement, then brought it back to him. Alex clapped his hands. "You're impossible," he said with a grin. "But I love it." For hours the two of them played. Luna growled at each toss, each bounce of the ball, each sudden movement. It was a strange, musical rhythm that filled the apartment with life and laughter. Alex found himself completely absorbed, forgetting about emails, deadlines, and the stress of the week. Later that day, Alex received a call from his sister, Emma. She had never met Luna in person but had seen the videos Alex shared. "You have to bring her over," Emma said. "I need to see this growling cat in action." Alex hesitated. He knew that Luna was friendly with him, but visitors were different. Would she growl aggressively? Would she be scared? "I don't know," he said. "She's unique. You might be growled at." Emma laughed. "All right, I'll take my chances." When Emma arrived, Luna immediately took notice. She perched on the arm of the couch and let out a low growl as Emma entered the room. Alex quickly reassured her. "It's okay, Luna. She's a friend, be nice." Emma froze at first but then noticed Luna's body language. The growl wasn't aggressive. It was cautious, almost polite. "Wow," she said. "She's actually adorable." Luna continued to growl softly as Alex introduced her to his sister. Emma laughed every time Luna's rumble echoed through the apartment. "I've never seen a cat do that before," Emma said. "It's like she's talking to you." Alex nodded, smiling. "Exactly. That's how she communicates. I told her growling is cute, and now, well, it's how she tells me she likes me." A few weeks later, Alex had an idea. If Luna's growls were bringing smiles to him, why not share them with the world? He set up a small video corner in the living room and started recording her reactions every time he entered the room. The videos captured her playful growls, her pounces, and her mischievous expressions. He uploaded the videos online, and to his surprise, they quickly gained attention. People commented on how adorable and unique Luna was. Some shared their own stories of pets with quirky habits. Alex realized that Luna's growls were more than a private joy. They were spreading happiness to others. Luna, of course, seemed completely indifferent to the attention. She cared only about Alex, her human, and the little routines they shared. But seeing people smile because of her made Alex laugh and feel proud. One day, Alex noticed a small change in Luna. Her growls had become softer and gentler in the morning, more like tiny vibrations of contentment rather than playful warnings. He thought about it for a while and realized that maybe she was growing more comfortable with him, more confident in their bond. "Look at you," he whispered one morning, kneeling to scratch behind her ears. "You've really settled in. You're my little growling shadow." Luna blinked slowly, purred, and gave a soft rumble, as if agreeing. Alex smiled. The connection he shared with Luna was deeper than he had expected. A simple growl had turned into an entire language of affection. Life with Luna wasn't always predictable. One evening, as Alex prepared dinner, Luna growled unusually loud at the kitchen doorway. He turned to see her staring at a shadow on the wall, her tail flicking rapidly. Alex laughed. Okay, it's just a shadow. You don't need to protect me from it." Luna continued to growl softly as he moved around the kitchen, keeping her eyes on him. Alex shook his head, smiling. "You're impossible, Luna, but I guess that's why I love you." It was moments like this that made Alex realize that life with Luna was full of surprises. Every growl, every movement, every little quirk reminded him that joy could be found in the smallest details. A few months later, Alex had to leave for a short trip. He felt uneasy leaving Luna alone, even though he had arranged for a pet sitter. On the day of departure, Luna growled softly as he packed his bags. It wasn't an angry growl. It was a quiet, low vibration that seemed to say, "I don't like this, but I trust you." Alex knelt down and hugged her gently. "I'll be back soon, Luna. Don't worry, you'll be fine." Luna blinked slowly, her growls softening into a tiny purr. Alex left the apartment feeling a strange mix of worry and comfort. He knew Luna would be okay, but the little growl had reminded him how much she relied on his presence. When he returned 2 days later, Luna greeted him with the loudest, happiest growl yet. She leapt into his lap and purred loudly. Alex laughed and hugged her. "I missed you too, Luna. I missed your little growls." Over time, Alex noticed something else. Luna's growls had become a part of their daily communication. When he was sad or tired, she would come close and let out a soft rumble that seemed to comfort him. When he was happy or excited, she would growl playfully, almost joining in his joy. The growls had become a bridge between them, a way to share emotions without words. One evening, Alex sat on the couch reflecting on the past months. He thought about how a simple comment, telling Luna her growling was cute, had created a unique bond. He thought about the laughter, the comfort, and the countless small moments that had made his life richer. "Who knew," he said aloud, stroking her fur, "that a little growl could mean so much?" Luna blinked slowly, gave a soft rumble and curled closer against him. It was her answer, her way of saying she understood and shared the sentiment. As the years went by, Luna's growls never faded. They evolved with her personality, sometimes soft and gentle, sometimes playful and loud, but always full of meaning. Alex had grown alongside her, learning patience, empathy, and the joy of small, everyday rituals. Visitors to the apartment often commented on Luna's unique habit. Some were startled at first, but once they saw the bond she shared with Alex, they were charmed. Luna's growls had become more than a personal quirk. They were a symbol of love, trust, and the small joys that made life meaningful. One day, Alex realized that he no longer noticed the growls in the same way he did at first. They had become so natural, so comforting, that life without them seemed impossible. He smiled, realizing that a tiny, quirky habit had become a central part of his happiness. The story of Alex and Luna is a simple one, yet it is profound. A comment about a growl led to a bond built on trust, affection, and communication. A cat's quirky habit taught a young man how to slow down, pay attention, and find joy in the smallest moments. The growls, at first amusing and strange, became a language of love. On quiet evenings, Alex would sit on the couch, Luna curled up in his lap, the soft rumble of her growl filling the room. He would smile, whispering to her, "You really are something special, Luna." She would blink slowly, purr, and growl softly in reply. It was a conversation that required no words, a connection that transcended language, and a reminder that sometimes the simplest sounds carry the deepest meaning. Life, Alex realized, was better with Luna's growls. They were more than cute, they were love in its purest, smallest form. And in those quiet moments, with a soft growl vibrating in his lap, Alex knew he had found something rare. A companion who made every day brighter, a little gray cat who communicated not with words but with heart, and a reminder that happiness often comes in the tiniest, strangest ways. By now, Luna's growls had become as familiar to Alex as the sunrise. Every morning as he stepped out of his bedroom, she would let out a soft, welcoming rumble from the living room. Every evening when he returned from work, the growl had its own rhythm, sometimes playful, sometimes low and soothing, always full of meaning. Alex had learned to anticipate them, almost like a secret language between them. But life, as it often does, had a way of surprising him. One rainy Saturday, Alex decided to take Luna outside for the first time. He had bought a small harness and leash, determined to give her a taste of the world beyond the apartment. Luna, of course, was skeptical. She growled at the sight of the harness, her tail flicking in annoyance. "Don't worry, Luna," Alex said gently. "I promise it's just a short adventure." After several careful attempts, he managed to clip the leash to her harness. Luna immediately froze, giving him a long, low growl. Alex chuckled. I know, it's scary, but it'll be fun." The moment they stepped onto the balcony, Luna's eyes widened. She sniffed the air cautiously, her ears twitching at every sound, the distant hum of traffic, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the soft patter of rain. She let out a tiny growl, half curiosity, half warning. Alex smiled. "That's it, Luna. Just explore at your own pace." Slowly, she padded along the balcony, growling softly every time a bird flew past or a leaf fell. Alex followed closely, careful not to startle her. He was amazed at how alert she was, how aware of every movement around her. The growls were not just sounds, they were her commentary on the world, a way of expressing feelings he couldn't yet fully understand. After about 15 minutes, Luna returned to him, rubbing against his leg and letting out a small, satisfied growl. Alex laughed. "See, you're a brave little explorer after all." Over the next few weeks, Alex started taking Luna outside regularly. Sometimes it was to the balcony, sometimes to a nearby rooftop garden where she could safely walk and explore. Each time her growls were different. The balcony growl was cautious, the rooftop growl playful, the small indoor growl welcoming him into the room. Alex began noticing patterns. Luna's growls were more than sounds, they were signals of mood, curiosity, and comfort. The soft morning rumble meant happiness, the playful midday growl meant excitement, and the low, warning growl meant caution. He started writing little notes for himself, tracking her behavior, realizing how intelligent and observant she truly was. One afternoon, Alex invited his friend Maria over to meet Luna on the balcony. Maria had never seen Luna outside. As soon as Luna stepped onto the balcony, she let out a soft growl aimed at Maria, who froze, unsure what to do. Alex laughed. "She's not mad. That's just her way of saying hello or maybe assessing you." Maria watched in awe as Luna prowled slowly along the edge of the balcony, growling softly at the passing pigeons. Then, almost theatrically, she turned, blinked at Maria, and gave a playful, high-pitched growl before curling up at Alex's feet. "She's amazing," Maria said, laughing. "I've never seen a cat like her. That growl, it's like she's talking to you." Alex nodded, smiling. "Exactly. And the funny thing is, it all started because I told her growling was cute." As time went on, Luna's growls became the highlight of Alex's day. But one evening, something unexpected happened. Alex was working at his laptop when he noticed Luna staring at the doorway, her ears flat and her tail flicking rapidly. She let out a long, low growl, more intense than usual. Alex froze. "What is it, Luna?" She padded to the window and hissed at the shadow of a stray cat lingering outside. Alex realized that Luna was not only playful but also protective. Her growls had grown into a form of alertness, a way of saying, "I'm here and I'm watching out for you." Alex couldn't help but laugh. "I guess you've taken your role seriously, huh?" Luna blinked slowly, giving a soft, rumbling growl in reply. Another funny incident happened when Alex decided to rearrange the furniture in the living room. He moved the couch slightly to make room for a new rug. Luna, who had been sitting quietly, immediately let out a sharp growl. She circled the couch, sniffed the air, and growled again. Alex laughed. Okay, you don't like the new arrangement." She growled softly again and jumped onto the arm of the couch, watching him as if to say, "You'll learn to respect my space." Alex shook his head, smiling. "Yes, ma'am. Consider it adjusted." He moved the rug back slightly, and Luna gave a satisfied little growl before curling up on the couch. It was moments like these that reminded Alex how intelligent and expressive she was. Her growls weren't just cute, they were communication, a way of sharing thoughts and feelings that he had learned to interpret over time. Alex also began noticing how Luna's growls affected his own moods. On stressful days, her soft rumble as he entered the room was like a gentle reminder to slow down. On happy days, her playful growl seemed to match his laughter, making him feel understood and celebrated. He started thinking of her not just as a pet, but as a tiny companion who shared his life in ways words couldn't capture. One quiet evening, Alex reflected on how far they had come. He thought about the first day he told Luna her growling was cute, and how it had evolved into this deep, silent conversation between them. Luna's growls were now a comfort, a signal of love, and a small source of joy in the everyday routine. Then, something surprising happened. Alex received an email from a small local magazine looking to feature stories of pets with unusual habits. They had seen Luna's videos online and wanted to interview him. Alex was hesitant at first but agreed. On the day of the interview, Luna sat quietly beside him as he spoke to the journalist. As he described her quirks, Luna let out a soft growl every few minutes, almost as if she were participating in the conversation. The journalist laughed. "She really is expressive." Alex nodded. "Yes, that growl started as a warning or curiosity, but now it's her way of saying so much without words. I told her growling was cute, and now it's part of how we communicate." The article was published, and soon more people reached out to Alex, sharing stories of their pets' unusual habits. Luna had become a little ambassador of quirky joy, spreading smiles without even trying. One winter evening, Alex noticed Luna sitting by the window staring out at the falling snow. She let out a soft growl, low and contemplative. Alex walked over and sat beside her. "Do you like it?" he asked softly. She blinked slowly and growled again, curling up against him. It was in these quiet moments that Alex realized how much Luna had changed his life. Her growls had started as a curious habit, then became playful, and finally evolved into a deep form of communication. She was more than a pet, she was a companion who understood him in ways few humans did. The months passed, and life continued with small adventures, playful growls, and shared routines. Alex noticed that Luna had even started adjusting her growls depending on who was around. She would growl softly when visitors arrived, louder when she was excited, and low and comforting when Alex needed support. Her sounds had become a language, rich and expressive, full of meaning. Alex often thought about how extraordinary it was that a small, gray cat could have such an impact on his daily life. Her growls reminded him to laugh, to pause, to notice small details, and to appreciate the little moments. One evening, as Alex sat on the couch reflecting, Luna hopped onto his lap, growling softly. He stroked her fur and whispered, "You're perfect just the way you are, Luna." She blinked slowly, purred, and let out a tiny rumble of agreement. It was a quiet, ordinary moment, yet it felt extraordinary. Life, Alex realized, was often measured not in grand events, but in small gestures, tiny sounds, and shared routines that created meaning and joy. And Luna's growls were a perfect example of that. As the days went on, Alex and Luna continued their routines: morning growls, playful interactions, protective growls, and quiet companionship. Each growl had a purpose, each rumble a message. Through them, Alex learned patience, empathy, and the importance of observing the small details in life. He often smiled when he thought about how it all began. One simple comment about a growl had blossomed into a relationship filled with love, laughter, and understanding. Luna had not only adapted to his life, but she had also taught him lessons about communication, companionship, and the power of quirks to bring joy. Part 4 ends with Alex sitting in the evening light, Luna curled up in his lap, growling softly as he strokes her fur. He leans back, smiling, thinking about the strange, wonderful journey they had shared. And as the gentle rumble vibrates through his lap, Alex knows that this small, quirky cat has made his life richer, fuller, and infinitely more joyful.